Here in Spain, Cathal Rochford joins us again this week. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been very good. Back to a normal routine, so I'm enjoying that. What about yourself? How are you doing?
Yeah, we're back in routine, and routine is good.
Always.
Yeah. Well, last week, if you were listening, and if not, you can always catch up, he kindly updated us on what's going on with interest rates. But this week, we're changing the subject completely to look at moving cross-border and estate planning, and how to do it effectively. Well, I know you live in the Balearics, Cathal, and I believe there's been some positive succession tax news there this summer. Could you update us on that, please?
Yes, so the Balearic Islands government has taken further steps to protect residents from high taxes imposed on wealth. The latest reforms build on the 2023 succession and wealth tax improvements and make the Balearics really a highly competitive tax jurisdiction in Europe. So on 24th of July of this year, the official Gazette of the Balearic Islands published a new law introducing a significant significant amendment to the regional inheritance and gift tax, and the reform consolidates the Balearic Islands as one of the most advantageous regions in Spain for estate and gift planning. Since July 2023, inheritances and succession agreements between close relatives, which would be Group 1 and 2 beneficiaries, have benefited from a 100% tax exemption in the Balearic Islands. This means that spouses, parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren do not pay any succession tax on inheritances. This reform also introduced a 50% reduction for cases where the deceased does not have any direct descendants and leaves assets to, for example, a brother, sister or nephew. Furthermore, stepchildren and in-laws may benefit from a 25% reduction in the absence of other descendants. So this year in 2025, Balearic Islands reform strengthens the 2023 regime by extending the exemption to lifetime gifts as well as inheritances, and increases the allowances for extended family members in Group 3. So the following applies from July of this year. So there's a full exemption, 100% reduction in taxes for inheritances and gifts to close family relatives, so groups 1 and 2. And then the increase for Group 3 increases from 50% to 60% for siblings, uncles, aunts, nephews and nieces. And then the allowances for other Group 3 beneficiaries increases from 25 to 35%. So this really underlines the Balearic region as a very tax-efficient place to be passing wealth down to one's family. Families now have greater flexibility to plan with significantly reduced tax exposure, particularly for direct relatives and to a lesser extent for more distant heirs.
And how does that compare to other regions like Valencia, Murcia and Andalusia?
Since January 2022 in Andalusia, descendants, ascendants and spouses benefit from both a 99% tax relief and a €1 million tax-free allowance for inheritances. So in the Murcia region, Murcia was one of the first areas to apply a 99% relief for inheritances and gifts received by spouses, descendants and ascendants, having introduced this back in 2018. And finally, in Valencia, dating back to May 2023, spouses, descendants and ascendances receive a 99% tax reduction for both inheritances and gifts in Comunidad Valenciana. And this is in addition to the €100,000 tax-free allowance for Group 1 and 2 beneficiaries there.
Now, we know from previous discussions it's very important to review and adapt your estate planning when moving from the UK to Spain. What are the key things someone moving from the UK to Spain needs to know about inheritance taxes and estate planning?
Yes, absolutely. So you'll want to ensure that your wealth is transferred to your chosen beneficiaries in a timely and efficient manner without large inheritance tax bills. For someone who lives in Spain or moving to Spain, your estate plan needs to take account of tax and succession laws in both the UK and Spain. And for more complex families, this may require, particularly strategic advanced planning. Effective estate planning can present a huge opportunity to reduce tax, preserve your hard-earned wealth, simplify matters, or it can present a major and costly burden if left unplanned. Family estate planning becomes even more imperative when you move to Spain. The Spanish inheritance regime imposes forced heirship and a complex succession tax. British expatriates may also have UK inheritance tax to contend with, if they have not broken their long-term residency with the UK, or if they hold significant UK assets. So both taxes are very different, and specialist qualified planning covering both sides of the equation is crucial. Succession tax in Spain can be as high as 80%, and UK inheritance tax is charged at 40%. So with the right long-term strategic planning, both taxes can be mitigated almost entirely. So the professional advice you take, how you structure your assets using tax advantage and compliance solutions, and how you position your assets, can really make a massive difference to how your wealth passes down to the next generation or your family, and how much is actually saved for tax.
When you talk to your clients about this, are there any particular elements that surprise them?
Yes, people are often very surprised by how much of their estate they may be offering up to the taxman, be it in the UK or Spain, and also the probate process that ensues. It can be a very protracted, complicated and costly process if left unplanned. With the growth of assets and property values in recent decades, and the UK inheritance tax-free allowance frozen in time at £325,000 since 2009, it can be quite shocking how much of their estate will face a 40% inheritance tax charge on death. People are then often pleasantly surprised with the strategic plan we can build for them, and how we can often mitigate UK inheritance tax and Spanish succession tax entirely, and leave a greatly simplified, tax-efficient financial legacy for their family.
And what do expatriates often get wrong? Are there common mistakes that people make that you want to warn others about?
Yeah, that's a good question, Howard. I would say keeping UK tax assumptions and a home bias with them on their move to Spain is a very common mistake people make. Spain is a different tax country with different rules, laws, and a totally different tax code. And UK planning doesn't work here. So any assumptions need to be unpicked early on. We regularly hear people talk about their main home capital gains tax allowance, their 25% tax-free lump sum, or their ISAs and premium bonds, and how tax efficient they are. And none of these things actually work in Spain, and can lead to errors being made and very high taxes. So I would say timing and sequencing is crucial when it comes to your move to Spain. And I would highly recommend engaging with an advisor at least a year out of your move is best. There are likely significant tax planning opportunities to capitalize on prior to leaving the UK that in turn can position you exceptionally well for your entry into the Spanish fiscal system.
And how do you help clients protect their wealth for their family and heirs? Do you have any other estate planning advice to share?
Yeah, so firstly, we really get to know our clients very well, and this can be over, several months or even a couple of years. So we do a deep dive on their financial position, their assets, income streams, pensions, their plans for the future, and importantly, what are their own needs, objectives for their retirement, for example. So slowly and patiently, we develop a financial action plan, or a roadmap as we call it, which is an integrated tax, pension, estate planning, and investment plan. And really this forms the foundation of their plan when they're moving to Spain. So we try to make the process as efficient and seamless as possible, and we implement the plan to provide optimal tax efficiency, financial peace of mind for their future, so they can really focus on enjoying their lifestyle here in Spain. So I think the overarching theme, especially on the estate planning side, where we often see the greatest possible tax savings for our clients, is to take specialist integrated cross-border advice by a firm like Blevins Franks, and it really can make an immense difference to our clients' financial legacy down the road.
And how can people get in touch with Blevins Franks?
Yeah, I think the best way to get in touch is via our website, blevinsfranks.com. And from there, you can get in touch with any of our local offices across Spain. And we'd be more than happy to arrange a meeting at the office, have a cup of coffee, and discuss how we can help.
Always informative, Cathal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Howard. I look forward to catching up in a few weeks.